together, strangers, neighbors, our blood is one. Children of generations, of every nation, of kingdom come. Don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where our help comes from. Whoa, 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 whoa. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, His kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where our help comes from. Whoa, 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 whoa,
go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All His children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus.
Swing wide, all you heavens, let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All His children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Swing wide, all you heavens, let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All His children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, His kingdom come.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott.
And I'm Dave, and not only are we friends...
Oh, hang on a second, we are?
Yeah, most days. But this weekend we get to be your hosts for this incredible Best of Trinity Online edition.
Okay, Dave, being my friend, this is our third Best of weekend. What makes this one different?
Great question.
Yes, it is, Dave.
So if you've been watching every week, which I'm sure most of you have been, actually all of you have been, back in the beginning of July and then again in August, we dusted off some of our favorite moments pre-COVID and brought them back to life.
And Dave, there's been so many of them.
Oh man, so many. I love how our church sees the power of creativity and art as a tool to meet Jesus in a fresh way. Like the rooftop shoot Good Grace that we just watched.
Man, I've watched that thing so many times. The team killed it.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And this weekend, we aren't going to look back at years ago, but rather our favorite moments since we've been online only these past 6 months.
6 months? Dude, it feels like an eternity, doesn't it? I really don't think anyone would have initially thought that this season would be as long as it is.
And we've experienced so much in it, like how to properly wash your hands.
Oh, I remember that, Dave. It was our very first weekend of going online when we found out on our Wednesday that we couldn't all meet together on church on Saturday and Sunday. It was crazy. We had to flip everything. And then the World Health Organization posted the proper way to wash your hands, which apparently I was doing incorrectly.
Who knew that washing your hands had so many steps?
Apparently the World Health Organization did.
True. True.
So with this new information and our new reality, I demonstrated the proper way to wash your hands.
Then a couple of weeks later, Corey, our worship pastor, walks into the office and calls me over and says, "Hey, remember that hand washing bit from Scott a couple of weeks ago? Well, I made a little something, something." And then through the visual magic of Silas, our video guy, this genius piece of art was created.
Do you actually have proper hygiene? So turn the tap on. So turn the tap on. Rinse your hands as best you can. Proper hygiene. Now rub hands palm to palm. Rotational rubbing of left thumb grasped in right palm. That is a unique rubbing mechanism. Right palm over left dorsum. It's confusing. Right palm over left dorsum. Proper hygiene. Proper hygiene. So turn the tap on. Turn the tap on. So turn the tap on. Rinse your hands as best you can. Proper hygiene. Okay, legit. I have to be honest, I love watching that.
It's so good. And actually, I've been told that that element has had the most views out of anything that we've created since we've been online.
That's awesome. Yeah. And hey, we're just getting started today. We're going to hear some great music, inspired creative moments, and we'll also be taking communion together.
Yeah, that's right. And if you want to participate in communion today with us, you don't have to do anything right now. We'll give you a heads up later on in the service so that you can grab some bread or juice or some reasonable facsimile.
Like Dave said, that's happening a little bit later, but right now, we're going to revisit an element we created a few weeks into our phase 1 lockdown when we asked people from Trinity, our faith community, what changes they've experienced because of COVID.
Yeah, and then we're going to watch Wayne as he unpacks our Compassion Meal program when it first started.
Awesome. So sit back, grab another cup of coffee, and enjoy.
We appreciate you.
We have been doing forest gymnastics routines.
We would never be doing this because we'd be so busy with kids' activities and running around like crazy.
I had the privilege of helping set up the 18 digital neighborhoods throughout Kelowna. But the real blessing has been watching the over 250 people connecting in these neighborhoods.
In fact, one gentleman was sharing with me that he was going through a very lonely night on Tuesday night, and he tuned into our prayer summit and was so inspired.
The church is on the move, and I think that's really, really, really exciting.
My mom and I went to Costco this morning. On the way out, my mom and I saw the sign that said, "Thank you, Costco."
I've been encouraged by the daily, the morning devos. I think it's beautiful to consider lingering in the moment a little bit longer to find the hidden blessings in each day.
We've got a guy at Motorworks, one of the auto places in town, who's willing to offer free maintenance to single parents.
My mom and dad were just thinking of the people that were struggling with groceries. Ended up driving around Rutland the other day, picking up food from driveways and front porches, and ended up with 4 boxes full of food to the Okanagan Food Bank.
It's a great time to go through those old photos that we all have stored And when I come across one that reminds me of someone, actually forward that photo on and remind that person the significance that they have had in my life.
Our boys thought today they'd leave him a fun little note just saying they miss him, they're thinking about him, and that they can't wait to play soccer together again sometime soon.
Our little acts of kindness go a long way, so let's all work together and shine some light in this world.
Spend a few moments watching the news or reading the headlines, and there's no doubt many individuals are going through an incredibly difficult season. From lost jobs, facing the challenges of being isolated, to essential health workers needing to live separately from family to ensure they are being safe. But in the middle of all of this, I'm grateful for the ways God's light and hope continue to shine through you and through this place, our commercial kitchen here at Trinity. Our incredible kitchen team, they pivoted in record time. Instead of seeing the obstacles, they saw an opportunity. With great care, they aligned the preparation and packaging of food with the heightened hygienic standards and provincial distancing protocols. Now, each week a small team gathers in this space and starts creating simple, delicious, individually packed meals to support a vast array of people, like chicken tortilla soup and cornbread muffins. So good. By Thursday, everything is ready to go. It's then a second team of staff and volunteers start distributing the food from Black Mountain to West Kelowna. Vulnerable families with immediate food needs, elementary school teachers caring for children with special needs, healthcare staff working significant hours, and local mission partners like Teen Challenge. I'm so grateful for how you're being the church in this crisis. Many of you have responded with remarkable generosity in giving your tithe. Through your generosity, we've been able to support hundreds of people who have been affected by this pandemic, and it's already making a difference. The texts, pictures, calls, and stories we are hearing from those who have received a meal, I wish you could read them all. But here's just one. We delivered to a mom of 2 kids. She's an ICU nurse who is absolutely exhausted. Plus her kids are now home learners and her husband still working. She was brought to tears when she realized she doesn't have to plan for a meal this week, and then was beyond thankful when we were able to pull a couple more meals out of the freezer for her to use when she needed them. It's amazing to see how God chooses to work through some pots, pans, ovens, and ingredients. Yet this really is the essence of Jesus' message. Matthew records Jesus saying this: "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." You know, that text is the very foundation of our core value. We light up the dark. We realize God has called us here to be a light. We courageously move into hopelessness, need, and injustice with the redeeming power of Jesus Christ. I'm so thankful for the team here in our kitchen and for our entire church community. Every day I'm hearing stories of the ways you are being a light in our city and beyond. So today, be encouraged. Your big and small acts of kindness are truly food for the soul.
That Compassion Meal program has only grown. Every week, our kitchen and team of volunteer drivers distribute and make more than 500 meals, which support individuals and partners in our community, like Teen Challenge and Freedom's Door, Osnum House, Okanagan Valley Pregnancy Center, and Hands in Service. So, to the kitchen team and the drivers that make the Compassion Meals possible, thank you so much. And I love it because each meal that is packed reflects our value of bringing hope to those in need through the power of Jesus. And we're not done. The Compassion Meal program continues to grow as we respond to those in need. And if you know someone who can benefit from one of those meals, email us, message, or send us a DM on one of our social media channels. Now, we're going to jump to Easter. Not going to lie, it was a little weird not being together this year. But that didn't stop us from connecting online. In fact, this past Easter has been the highest watched weekend we've ever had. And it's really no surprise because the story of Jesus always brings us together.
Two travelers are walking the dusty road out of the city of Jerusalem. They're followers of Jesus, or at least they used to be. And as they walk, they're talking about the headlines of the day, everything that's happened in the city over the last few days. They're trying to piece together how everything went so wrong so quickly. They knew the tensions were high, but there had been an angry mob. Jesus was dragged away, the rush of a trial, and then Jesus was crucified. News spread quickly. Bad news usually does. And the headlines looked pretty hopeless. Headlines look that way, don't they? Sometimes I wonder if reading the news in the morning just might be the worst way to start the day. They talk about everything that's wrong with the world. And like newsprint, that has a way to rub off on us, making us wonder if things are really hopeless after all. And then there are the headlines of our own lives. It seems that bad news will come and find us right where we live. It's the bill in the mail that we know we can't pay. It's the relationship that we've pushed way past the breaking point. It's the call to say our last goodbyes. It's the constant fear of becoming infected, or worse yet, infecting others. This is the bold print of our lives, and it chokes out hope. These are the kind of weighty things these friends are discussing when suddenly they're joined by a third man, someone they are sure they've never met before, stranger. But what's actually strange here is they do know this man. It's Jesus, but for some reason they are unable to recognize him. By some supernatural power, they are blind to who he really is. But I think that blindness has something to do with their hearts. I've always had a creative imagination, and when I was young, I had this reoccurring nightmare that made me feel like my legs were stuck in this black, paralyzing sludge up to my knees. And the more I tried to break free, the deeper I would sink. I would shut my eyes so tight and I would scream to the top of my lungs that I would be completely oblivious that my mom had already come into the room and turned on every light. Sometimes we get so hopeless about seeing the dark things happening in our world that we shut our eyes so tight that we can't see the moment when the lights come on. Toward the end of the day, these friends finally arrive in Emmaus, and it's there where they invite their new friend to dinner. And it's then that the stranger takes the bread and he blesses it and he breaks it. There's something that feels familiar to these friends. They've shared a meal like this before. And that's the moment that their eyes were open. That's the moment that they realize this is Jesus. That's the moment that they realize resurrection has happened. Until this moment, these followers, they'd given up hope. For if they really believed that Jesus was going to be raised from the dead, they would have stayed in Jerusalem waiting for a miracle. But now, with eyes wide open, they realize the miracle had come to them. Jesus is alive and his grace has chased them down.
The head that once was crowned with thorns is crowned with glory now. The Savior knelt to wash our feet. Christ our King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. The fear that held us now gives way to Him who is our peace. His final breath upon the cross is now alive in me. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. You resurrect me. The tomb where soldiers watched in vain was borrowed for 3 days. His body there would not remain. Our God has robbed the grave. Our God has robbed the grave. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive
Through the miraculous power of the cross, God's grace is available to each of us. Yes, everyone. If you've been a Christ follower for years, or you just happen to join our live stream today, that's why we celebrate Easter. And that's why God invites us, no matter what is going on around us, to remember. Remember through communion what Jesus did for you and for me on the cross. So as we listen to this next song, find some things that you can use as communion elements. It could be a piece of a bagel, a cracker, literally anything to drink. These elements are not as important as the intent in how they are used. As a matter of fact, Jesus used the common elements that he had on his table, bread and wine, to share with his disciples. Find what those common elements are for you that you could use at your house. And as you do that, don't miss the words Danielle is going to share with us, that because of Jesus, we are forgiven, made new. And then right after, Wayne will be up to lead us through taking communion together.
In the crushing, in the pressing, you are making new wine. In the soil I now surrender. You are breaking new ground. So I yield to you into your careful hand. When I trust you, I don't need to understand. Lord, make me a vessel. Make me an offering. Make me whatever you want me to be. Lord, I came here with nothing but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. In the crushing, in the pressing, you are making new wine. In the soil I now surrender. You are breaking new ground. You are breaking new ground. Lord, make me a vessel. Make me an offering. Make me whatever you want me to be. Lord, I came here with nothing but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Oh, Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Oh, Jesus, bring new wine out of me. 'Cause where there is new wine, there is new power. There is new freedom. The kingdom is here. I lay down my old flames to carry your new fire today. Oh, today. So where there is new wine, there is new power. There is new freedom. Carry your new fire today. Lord, make me a vessel. Make me an offering. Make me whatever you want me to be. that I came here with nothing, but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Oh, Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me.
I'm trying to imagine where you are right now, where you're sitting. Maybe you're alone, or maybe you're with family or others. And I have no idea where you are in your spiritual journey, but may you consider what Jesus accomplished on the cross. May you believe that he died for you, that he loves you that immensely. And so when you take the bread, you realize it represents his broken body. And so right now, let's eat it and remember what Jesus did for us. And in the same manner now, we take the cup and we remember again that it represents the new covenant established by his shed blood. Remember and drink it now.
Would you take a moment now and pray with me? God, as we had this opportunity to be reminded to remember taking the bread and the cup together, it also triggers in us the fact that there is newness when we come to the table. The Bible says that your promises, your mercies are new every single morning, that we can wake up and we can discover a new element about you, a new character trait, something new that we can put into our own lives. And so God, I pray today that as we are reminded of who you've been in our lives, that we would be excited about what you want to do tomorrow and the next day, in the future, not only in us, but in our community. So we love you, and we're so thankful we can meet you once again at this communion table, and we pray this in the precious name of Jesus. Amen. It has been so good to look back at just a few moments we've seen God at work through our online experiences, and just to take that time to pray with you. And if you're partnering with us financially at Trinity, that means that you're helping people find the grace, forgiveness, and hope that only comes when we follow Jesus. And we would not be able to experience all of these moments together with you in people's homes and on their screens in Kelowna and all over the world without the generosity of those who give. So if that's you today, thank you. Thank you for teaming up with us in what God is doing. Well, we have two final elements in our best of online service, and then you'll want to stick around for some big news coming this fall. So to get you there, first, Michelle reminds us that we're not just practicing a religion. No, rather it's a relationship that connects us to God through a personal daily communication with Jesus. And then we'll find Dave standing by himself in a forest, which I sometimes wonder if that's always where he just stands. Anyways, he'll be reminding us of the importance of community.
In the days following the start of quarantine, I found myself in a really dark headspace. I was really overcome with just anxiety and fear and hopelessness. And so I realized I needed to spend some time with the Lord, and how I best connect with God is through worship. And so I decided to go on a run and just be in nature, and I put on Stephanie Gretzinger's new worship album, which I hadn't listened to yet. And I was about 15 minutes into my run, and I got to this section where there's a ton of stairs, and they're super long and steep, and I've tried to run them before, and I've never ever made it to the top. And so I got about halfway up, and I was just exhausted and struggling to breathe and just feeling kind of frustrated. And the song came on, and immediately I was just captivated because it was so beautiful. And then I started to tune into the lyrics, and it's hard to articulate with words the experience that I had, but it was as if my life just kind of stood still, and I felt the tangible presence of God and the peace of Jesus just kind of came over me. And it was as if in that moment, everything kind of just came into perspective. And the lyrics reminded me of how deeply and expansively Jesus cares for me and how far he's carried me through in my life. And as I've kind of reflected over these last couple of weeks, this song has been a kind of my heart's cry. And it sounds slightly morbid, but I've been thinking a lot about my end days and that day that I see my Creator face to face. And I imagine me and Jesus kind of looking at my life retrospectively and me not only seeing how Jesus cared for me and carried me through really dark seasons like this one, but also me standing there and looking at my life and seeing it as a story and asking myself, how was my life a testimony to God's goodness and God's faithfulness? And so, in this season, I've just been thinking a lot about how I've been spending my time and what I've been focusing my thoughts on. And I think as Christians, we have this beautiful opportunity to be a light in this really dark season where a lot of people are really lonely. And so as we sing this song, I just encourage you to think about the goodness of God and think about that, the idea that even though we've lost so much of our comforts and these sources of joy, that Jesus is still enough for us, and Jesus is still our source of joy and our source of hope. Our God is so good and so faithful, and he will carry us through this season.
If my heart could tell a story, if my life would sing a song, if I have a testimony, if I have anything at all, no one ever cared for me like Jesus. His faithful hand has held me all this way. And when I'm old and gray and all my days are numbered on the earth, let it be known in you alone my joy was found. Children tell their children, let this be their memory, that all my treasure was in heaven. You were everything to me. Cared for me like Jesus. His faithful hand has held me all this way. And when I'm old and gray and all my days are numbered on the earth, let it be known in you alone my joy was found. let it be known, in you alone my joy was found.
For almost a decade, I've lived on a street that dead-ended into a forest. It was a perfect place to go for a walk the dogs, talk to God, or just find some alone time from a busy house. There's something about the woods that I've had a connection with, something about the trees that has drawn me in. I've admired them, their aloneness. It felt like they knew something I didn't, some kind of wisdom, like how to be solitary, how to be strong by yourself. There were times where I would look up to the branches and see the wind wrestling through the leaves, and I would imagine the trees whispering some kind of wisdom back to me. I recently learned that I wasn't too far off. You see, trees do talk, just not to us. If a tree comes under attack, if it's being eaten away by some pest of some kind, the tree can release toxins into its leaves. And that process gives off a smell. And that smell travels from the tips of its branches to the tips of neighboring branches from neighboring trees, warning them to start making the same toxins. The trees use their outstretched branches to tell one another that they're under attack. But another way that trees talk is through the ground. Underground, the roots are spreading, searching, intertwining with all the other roots from all the other trees. And it creates this network where they can exchange all kinds of things. It's a kind of woodland World Wide Web. When a tree isn't getting what it needs to thrive, when it can't find the nutrients, the sugars, the water that it needs to stay alive, it sends out a distress call to the community. It's a cry for help. And oftentimes, the surrounding trees will come to its rescue. They will take up any extra that they have, dip into their own reserves, and will send those reserves down through their roots to the tree that needs it. All along, I've thought of these trees as solid and secluded, that they're just fine in isolation. I had thought that they were in competition with each other for light and nutrients and all the rest, and actually admired them for it, for their resilience, for their solitary strength. But I was wrong. I had missed that all along, they were strong because of each other. I think for a lot of us, somewhere along the way, we learned to idealize a solitary kind of strength, believing that showing weakness is weak, that admitting need is needy, that to share deeply with someone somehow diminishes us. But in our recent season of isolation, I feel like a lot of us have discovered that what we've idealized all along isn't true. We're not better off alone. Recently, I feel like I've been under attack, like the bad news was eating away at me, like my soul had been planted in lifeless dirt. And no matter how deep down I dug, there just wasn't the stuff down there to draw life from. And then I had a conversation with a friend about what God was doing in them, what God was teaching them, and what they were soaking up. And it gave me life for my faith. It gave me the things that I was lacking. I also have these moments of abundance, these moments where I've become aware of just how much I have and how much I have to give, and not just things. Because I'm learning more and more that the more deeply I am loved by the people around me, the more I am able to express that love to others. That we are stronger together. We are stronger when we're reaching toward each other. And when we do, we all grow. And when we all grow, we're all able to reach just a little higher toward the light. We intentionally chose this last element for a very specific reason.
We sure did, Dave. reflects our value of connection as a community. Actually, more than that, it's the reality that you and I are created for it. God built connection into our DNA. And it's been so hard to do that in the season, hasn't it?
Oh, so bad.
Yeah, like the protocols and distancing and isolation. And as we've reached out to so many of you in our community, we've actually seen a gap form, this disconnection. So our entire strategy this fall is around creating opportunities to connect.
Yeah, absolutely. And last week, Andrew mentioned that we were going to start to unveil our fall plans this week. So...
Oh, okay, here we go. Starting next week, Wayne will begin a 3-part series we're calling Don't Stop. Don't give up, don't throw away, don't hesitate, drawing near to God and to others.
Yeah, so much has changed. And you're right, unless we have a strategy, we drift.
Exactly. So next week, our series begins with Don't Stop Believing.
And then during the month of September, we will unveil a significant strategy that will be launched the first week of October to get our church connected during COVID.
Yes, and we are so excited. You know that saying, Dave? When life gives you lemons, make tarts.
No, that's not the saying. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade.
But I like tarts better.
You are hopeless. Fine. You make your tarts, the rest of us will drink lemonade.
I'm sure you'll enjoy your juice. I'm actually pretty excited about this fall. COVID has given our big church a phenomenal opportunity to become small.
Yep.
Small in a way that actually reflects what those who follow Jesus are supposed to do. Care for each other in a tangible, practical, meaningful way. And we can see hundreds of little Trinity churches gathering all over our city and beyond, learning about Jesus and each other.
Yeah.
And we'll actually host a few of those gatherings right here in the refinery as well.
Now, I bet you've got a ton of questions of what that's going to look like, but don't worry. All the details are coming your way over the next few weeks.
And hey, if you aren't signed up to receive our Trinity email, go to our website and app and do it this week. You'll get all the latest information and come back next weekend for Don't Stop Believing.
And that would be a wrap for our Best of Trinity online weekend. But we've got one more moment that we wanted to leave you with that Corey gave us just a few weeks ago as he was talking about rediscover rest.
And yes, thanks for hanging out with us today. We love you, we're for you, and we'll see you right back on that beautiful couch next weekend. Bye.
What do I have that hasn't been given? Even the breath I breathe, the mercy of heaven. All that I have is your provision. So be still, my soul. Be still, my soul. Be still and know. Be still, let go. Be still, my soul. I remind myself that you are not worried. Even now I sense your presence around me. I remind myself when my heart is racing. Be still, my soul. Be still, my soul. Be still and know. Be still, let go. Be still, my soul. All my cares at your feet, all the fears that cripple me, they bow before the Prince of Peace. You are my peace. All my cares cripples me. They bow before the Prince of Peace. You are my peace. Yeah. Be still, my soul. Be still and know. Be still, let go. Be still, my soul.